Hey, everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, April 6th, 2025. Did you guys see the way Kyle went to town on Claire's whipped cream? I was impressed. Dang, the second I saw that cup on screen with the mile high swirl of whipped cream, I was like, hello, that caught my attention immediately. Claire said she was looking forward to having that whipped cream all day long, and then Kyle just dragged his tongue right through the middle of it. What a performance! I'll have what she's having. Oh. Wow. So Kyle actually figured out this week that there's a spy on the inside at Jabot. Or, I mean, he's theorizing that it could even be spies. Apparently, this guy, this employee, was asking him questions similar to the questions that Victor was trying to get Kyle to find out when Kyle was working with Victor to steal the sunscreen thing from Jabot. I was pretty impressed with Kyle. I thought that was a pretty good catch. I think his internship working with Victor and getting a PhD in deviousness really paid off there. He's the whipped cream liquor / corporate espionage buster this week. I feel like this was Kyle's week. He did really well. uh, and yeah, he told Jack about his theory that, there are plants inside Jabot. And surprise, this glissade guy is actually trying to get more money out of Victor at the same time to keep quiet about the fact that he's a plant. He's like, well, I either want more money or I'm going to tell the Abbotts. And at the same time, he was still fishing for information from Kyle. So Victor did not appreciate that. I did not appreciate that. I feel like this guy needs to be hauled out to the ranch by one of Victor's security goons, Ian Ward style, and we need to give this guy a taste of the ring. So the stage is set for the next war between Victor and Jack, and I am curious to know how it's going to play out because it feels like we've been waiting for it, but nothing's really happened yet. It's been a lot of talk, but not a lot of action. But in the meantime, we are getting these little delicious moments of Victor versus Kyle, right? I'm not sure which was better, the whipped cream or the Victor ignoring Kyle at the coffee house on Friday, talking right over him, right on top of him as if he wasn't even there. And Kyle just taking it in that kind of smooth son of Jack Abbott way. He glossed over it too. It was good. It's clear that Victor wants to come between them. I loved Jack this week telling Victoria that to pass along a warning to Victor that if Victor tries to come in between these two lovebirds, then he's going to have him to deal with. I'm liking this a lot. I mean, it seems so crotchety from Victor's perspective, though, because Kyle's happy, Claire's happy. What's the problem? Well, I guess, the problem is not just Victor. Claire this week told Victoria that Summer is a problem too, and that may be the bigger problem, really. Claire told Victoria for the first time that Summer seems to disapprove of their relationship and that she's always disapproved of her, really. And, Jack told Kyle that he thinks Summer still wants him, still wants to get back together. That was an interesting little piece of information that Kyle tucked away. He didn't seem to react to it all that much, but he tucked it away. And if Kyle's so happy and, he and Claire are just two little lovebirds in loving bliss, then there's really nothing that Summer or Victor could do to come between them. Unless I'm kind of wondering if Claire's going to end up being the one who shoots herself in the foot here. After the coffeehouse run-in with Victor, Claire kind of scolded Kyle over the whole thing. She told him not to instigate. And I thought, well, it's interesting that she's sort of challenging Kyle over this instead of Victor. I think Claire knows that she has a better chance of controlling Kyle's behavior than her grandfather's, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe the way Victor ends up coming between Kyle and Claire is more subtle. Maybe Claire will continue to defend Victor, and maybe Kyle will just eventually get tired of it. In the same way that Victor is coming between Kyle and Claire, I think he's about to come between Audra and Nate too. It's very subtle. Right after Amy got home from Chicago, Nate and Damian shuffled her upstairs for a nap. And Lily came barging over, ready to confront Damian about what Victor had told her, which was that Damian has his sights set on their family business, and it's a plot that started long before Nate ever contacted him with the fake job offer. So Lily confronts Damian about it in front of Nate, and of course Damian denies it, but the argument was loud enough that it woke up Amy so that she could get into the middle of it too, and I have to say, I enjoyed that. I like Amy a lot. She brings flavor to her scenes. Mother Amy is bossy. She's definitely made herself comfortable in this world, that's for sure. She has no problem wrangling in Damian and Nate like they're her two sons. She's beating cancer, check, and giving these two boys some straight talk, check. I like it. It's very no nonsense. Well, Damian has continued to defend himself, to defend his innocence, and he tossed back an interesting volley this week. He said, well, if you're hearing this information about me, then it's because someone planted it. Someone gave Victor that misinformation. Well, who could that be? The only other person that we know who's connected to this story is Holden. So Nate, Damian, and eventually Lily all went off to confront Holden, and I have to say, strangely, I felt kind of bad for the guy. It feels like Holden's being isolated. His response to Damian was, hey, we used to be friends. The Damian I used to know would never have mistrusted me this much. But I don't know, then again, that could easily just be a great cover. But now the Winters crew are left with this sneaking suspicion that something else is up. And Lily thinks it has everything to do with this Aristotle Dumas. She actually tried to force Damian to give up the goods on his boss this week, but he would not do it. She was like, just if you want to prove it to me, tell me what's up. Tell me about Aristotle Dumas. And Damian was like, well, wouldn't you like to know? The question of who is Aristotle Dumas is the $1 million question that everyone is asking right now. Well, Lily goes back to Victor. Victor says, I'm not lying. And if Damian's not lying, then maybe Aristotle Dumas is the one who's lying. Maybe he's the one who set up Damian. Maybe he wants Damian to appear suspicious. I don't know. Maybe he's got something against Damian and is wanting to set him up all of a sudden to take the fall for whatever their plan was. I don't know. Damian refused to say anything about his boss. He left Lily and Devon feeling very suspicious, and now they're working together to warn Nate not to trust Damian, not to trust his new brother. But at the end of Friday's show, Nate said, "No thanks. I'll trust Damian over Victor Newman any day. We've all been screwed over by Victor Newman. I don't trust him. He's the one I don't trust." Cut to Victor offering Audra a job in the previews for next week. And it's going to be a job that speaks to her ego, of course. Because he's saying, well, would you like to get some revenge on Kyle? You know, do you want to get some revenge? And a second shot. So in a way, Audra is in the exact same position that Claire is in. Victor's got something that she wants, and I feel like she's going to be stuck defending him. Exactly how much money did Jack's guilt cost him this week? That's all I could think when he was signing the papers to Billy for the funding for Abbott Cosmetics. How much guilt money is this costing Jack? Because Billy made really sure in the past that Jack felt bad for not supporting him. And even when Jack was signing the papers, Billy said, "Are you having second thoughts?" And you just know that if Jack would have said anything, even remotely questioning of him, Billy would have thrown a little hissy fit, claiming that Jack doesn't believe in him. I don't like the dynamic of just shut up, Jack, and sign the check. Ugh. To be fair to Billy, though, he did offer Jack the information about Aristotle Dumas on his own. And Jack warned him. He said, this could be trouble. But Billy's not going to listen. We know Billy's not going to listen. He also is being fed information that his ego likes. So I hope whatever happens with this doesn't end up causing a problem in Jack and Billy's relationship. But Billy just seems to be asking for trouble. I mean, come on. When Phyllis is telling you something is a bad idea, it probably is. Phyllis thinks it's such a bad idea that she even swallowed her pride and went to Sally about it this week, thinking that Sally could maybe convince Billy to drop whatever connection he thinks he has to Aristotle Dumas and drop the idea of getting Chancellor back. That is so not going to happen. But interestingly, what Sally didn't tell Phyllis is that she basically already tried telling all of that to Billy and was unsuccessful. Billy's not really listening to either of them. I'm kind of curious, and I think this would be an interesting poll for the week. Do you think you would like to see Billy with Sally or Billy with Phyllis? If those were the only two options, are you rooting for Billy and Sally or Billy and Phyllis? That's the poll question this week at yrchat.com. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about that. I mean, because that's clearly what the triangle is. No in between. Those are the only two options. Billy and Sally actually had what I think could be considered their first argument over that this week. And I'm sure Sally assumed that Phyllis was on board, like that Phyllis was backing up anything that Billy wanted. And honestly, I would have expected her to. But that's why Sally told Chloe that she's worried about Billy working with Phyllis. I loved Chloe's reaction. Oh, she had a total throwback. She said, "Oh, yeah, you need to take some action here. You do not want Phyllis anywhere near your man. Don't even get me started on that time when Phyllis asked Kevin to help her move a dead body." That was delightful. I will never forget Dr. Tim Reed. Rips Dr. Tim Reed. He was this short, balding little therapist who had a thing for Phyllis back in the day. And she just, like, he loved her. She's this tall, slinky redhead, and he's this short, nerdy therapist. And she just whipped him around this way and that. And right when he thought, years later, that he was finally going to have her, he ended up dropping dead of a heart attack in her apartment. Oh my goodness. I can't remember exactly why she didn't just call the police, but yeah, I could see where Chloe's coming from with the advice she was given to Sally. Phyllis does have a way of dragging people into her drama, but this time, I think the opposite is true. It feels like Billy is trying to drag her into his. Is there any chance that Adam could be Aristotle Dumas? This whole thing is just a setup. I mean, you have to admit, Adam could be feeding Billy what he wants to hear. Your mom treated you so unfair. Let's get revenge on Victor Newman. And then maybe that's what Adam's doing, and he's going to end up bringing down the hammer. I mean, Adam's been taking some secret phone calls. I don't know. Maybe. It just feels like that almost needs to be the twist because the rivalry between Adam and Billy is so one-sided right now. Billy is just seething with anger, and it's like, every week, just let it go. Let it go for your own sake. You have so much else going on right now. Chelsea told Billy this week that she and Adam are back together, and he was disgusted. I don't get it. I don't get why he has such reverence for Chelsea, and Adam gets all the blame for the only thing that he can really be reasonably mad about right now, which is that they slept together behind his back. Go ahead and be mad about that, Billy. You have a right to be mad about that. But why treat Chelsea like she's a saint who's being manipulated by the evil Adam when she participated in it all too? And then she agreed to move in, and she admitted her feelings for him, and it was all part of the process. It was all headed that way. And if Billy's so happy with Sally, then why not just let bygones be bygones? I mean, Billy's sleeping with Adam's ex. Isn't that a good enough revenge, or did that come up more hollow, or what? I don't know. The whole thing is so tired. Sally and Adam also ran into each other this week again. And I swear, every time they run into each other, I'm thinking, here we go again. It's always the same. They try to get along. They try to not let it be awkward. But it always is. Why is Lauren so worried about Michael working for Victor all of a sudden? Is it just because he practically was ready to take a bullet for him? Is that it? Is that the only reason? I can't put my finger on it, but something feels off here. I don't know. It's ominous, right? The Michael stuff was ominous this week. Lauren was very ominous. Michael was very ominous. Victor is trying to figure out this Aristotle Dumas situation. Again, I think it would be great if all the breadcrumbs led to Adam, his own son. But Victor's trying to figure it out. And Michael almost seems to think he's in danger. Between the Aristotle Dumas thing and the Glissade revenge plot, him going after Jack, it just seems like Michael thinks Victor is in some kind of physical danger. I don't know. And then Lauren got Nikki all whipped up over Victor's ethics this week, and that he's always dragging Michael into dangerous situations. And then Nikki confronted Michael, and Michael seemed to imply that he was merely trying to protect Victor from himself. Okay. But what's the danger here? Is Aristotle Dumas out for blood, or is it just business, or both, or I don't know. Michael made a comment about, gee, I see you were able to get that blood stain out of the couch, and that was so heavy. I mean, it just doesn't bode well. But also, let's be real, I think we all know Nikki wasn't there scrubbing that couch with soap and vinegar. She just ordered a new couch. Duh. You know what? This week, Michael and Victor speculated that Aristotle Dumas could actually be Tucker McCall. But what that tells me is it is definitely not Tucker McCall. They laid out all the ways that it would make sense, right down to the fact that Tucker loves shell companies with French names. But the fact that they were saying it out loud is exactly what makes me think it can't be true. Victor's got this Aristotle Dumas mystery to solve, and he's trying to bring down Chabot from the inside. I don't know. He's very busy right now. Next week in the previews, Marlan has returned from Paris, looking fresh as a daisy. Hair's got some length on it, looking extra, like, good. Honestly, I was like, seeing him, I'm like, he's attractive. Why am I picking up on his attraction right as he's crazy? I do love a bad boy. I don't know what that says about me, but could not have cared. Never really thought of Alan as attractive until now. He's a bad boy, and I'm like, he's kind of cute. I was starting to wonder if he was ever going to come back. I mean, how long was that flight? That flight was almost as long as the amount of time it would take to remodel a living room, apparently. Oh, my goodness. Diane lives in a Diane world. I loved how she noticed something was off with Traci, and at first she was like, "Ooh, is it about my remodeling the mansion? Because I swear, Traci, you're going to love it." Diane, I love you, but just because you're talking about this remodel, it's the only thing you've got going on, apparently, doesn't mean that it's the only thing that Traci's got going on, okay? Traci thinks her fiancé was replaced by his evil twin brother, okay? Keep up! No, I felt bad. Traci felt bad because Diane was being genuine. Diane was really, truly being genuine, and there was an opportunity there to be friends, to bond. And Traci felt bad because she couldn't take it. They're trying to keep this whole secret on the down low so that the dramatic twist will shock everyone. But Traci actually jumped up and took a call from Alan while she was at the table with Diane, and it was pretty obvious that she was upset over it. She told Jack later, I took the call, and Jack was like, "How did he seem?" And she said, "It was my Alan. It was my Alan. Am I in love with an imposter?" It's even better than I thought. Am I in love with an imposter? It's just so good. It's just so good. Well, Jack did make a fair point that if Alan is Martin, then they really need to bring Diane and Ashley in on the loop so that they can be on guard. This guy kidnapped Phyllis and Sharon. He could do it again. And in the previews for next week, Ashley's back, and Jack is asking her directly, could it be true? Yeah, it could be true. And you know what? Traci could be the one in danger. You don't get to where you are without ruffling a few feathers. Who do you figure said that? You don't get to where you are by ruffling without ruffling a few feathers. If you want to know who said it, you should go to yrchat.com to find out. Let me look at some comments, starting with Daisy, who says, if Martin did die, maybe Alan was so grief-stricken that he brought Martin back to life as a personality. Alan, though, is completely unaware that this happened to him. Maybe that's why Traci can see and hear the differences between Alan and Martin, because Alan is living with a split personality. And Traci may end up in danger if Alan becomes Martin right in front of her. I'm not so sure she'd be able to pretend it was not happening. Ooh, Daisy, that's so good. What if it's Alan, but after Martin's death, he had a break with reality, suddenly developed this split personality to replace his dead brother, and now he's kind of living out both. Ooh, that would be a twist that I would not have seen coming, but then it would be correctable too. Then all we need to do is get Alan on some meds, and we can have him back for Traci, no problem, in a couple months. I mean, if Sharon can come back, from her PCP trip so quick, surely Alan can come. I mean, Ashley had a complete break with reality, complete split personalities. She had a 3-way split personality, right? And was able to come back. So this actually gives me hope. Victoria says, glad to see Ashley will be back in Genoa City next week. Together, she and Jack may be able to piece together if Alan is indeed Martin. I'm still crossing my fingers that the real Alan is being held against his will, while Martin, as Alan, is plotting revenge schemes against Ashley and psychological shenanigans for fun. Stay strong, Traci. That's what I'm hoping too. Russell says, Traci breaking down when she said, he was my Alan, was heartbreaking. Beth Maitland is so good. So Martin sent Traci wildflowers, likely with a listening device, as a throwback to when he called her his wildflower. Poor Traci. She should come clean to Diane, who will be upset with Jack for not telling her. Ooh, you think there's a listening device in the wildflowers? I would never have thought of that. That would be a great twist and a way for him to kind of figure all of this out, figure out that the Abbotts are plotting against him. Ooh, and then, yeah, that could put Traci into some real danger. And you're right. I think you would think that Diane would be upset to find out that Jack did not tell her. I mean, he said, Jack told Traci, don't worry about Diane, we're strong. And that almost doesn't bode well. That almost makes you think that, oh no, Diane's going to be really upset when she finds out that all of this was going on under her new roof without her knowing about it. Oh man, I hope whatever happens with Alan doesn't mess up the new decor. I mean, the Newmans got their new ranch and then immediately blood on the couch. Diane does not need that happening to her. Well, let me take a look at last week's poll results. I thought this was pretty good. Is Amy secretly working with Damian and or Dumas? 63% say no. The majority of people trust Amy. Connie says, I was suspicious of her until she sought treatment from the doctor known to Nate, but she was also quick to side with her son over the unproven allegations made by Lily and Victor. She might be a pawn in the game, but not a co-conspirator. Yeah, that seems reasonable too, that maybe she's being used, but she's not, there actively doing it. And you made a good point. She did go to the doctor, so who knows? Who knows? Steven says, I voted no, but I've been fooled. I should change my vote. I need to change my vote. Amy is a Tucker front to unite Damian with his brother, Devon, which explains Dumas giving the goods on Winters to Damian. I know, I want that to be the case, Stephen. I think that's an even better twist. That's where it needs to be. I'm just not sure I believe that's where it is. Sue W. says, terminal illnesses are my least favorite soap storylines, especially around either new characters or a previous one I don't even remember. But Amy playing the good citizens of Genoa City would pique my interest with the resulting messy fallout. If she's not sick, she might be playing Damian, at least in that regard, even if they're both in some sort of Dumas cahoots. But I'm not much interested in the straight-up dying Amy plot, if that's all it is. Sorry, not sorry to be so uncaring about a made-up person. You don't have to qualify that, Sue W. No, you don't have to be, you don't have to worry about that. No, she is a made-up person. We're allowed. That's one of the nice conceits. We can talk about them however they want. However we want. They're not real. But, I agree. I don't love the dying person plot, but I think it would be a twist. I would rather it be the twist, honestly. Russell says some additional thoughts on Amy's involvement with Damian's deceitful plan. At least her illness must be real. She would have had a hard time faking the treatment with Nate's associate. I'd assume Nate would speak with the doctor given the treatment, and Amy would hopefully not take the treatment if she were as healthy. Everything else she has said might be a lie, but the illness must be real. Yeah, that could be that everything else is a lie, but the illness is real. Well, Connie says, I know we wanted to see more scenes of people in their homes to humanize the characters, but no one's going to the office anymore. The Paris apartment, the new ranch, the old ranch update, Billy's new place, and the anticipated mansion redo, they're great, but I miss the old and familiar work sets. I hope they aren't throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to the old sets. Dang, Connie, that's a really good point. We said we wanted homes, and now we're getting all homes and no businesses. Frankly, we only need 2 businesses. All we need is Newman Enterprises and Jabot, right? Whichever, rolling them in, rolling them out. I was kind of thinking, I don't know, maybe clearly they only have limited space. And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of business storylines going on right now. Maybe once we get there, of course, like Winters doesn't have a space, never had a space. Where is Winters taking place? I don't know. It's a good question. You're right. We got the homes that we wanted, and now we have no offices. Diana says, I thought it was kind of funny when Victor was saying that he would like to have all of his children to live at the ranch, and Nick replied that he likes where he's living now with Christian. Apparently, Nick likes living in his invisible house we never see anymore. It's been years. I really hope Y&R gives us Nick's place. I know I've mentioned this before, but I feel it needs to be said again. I love Nick's place. It was cozy. I'm sure Allie's right about Billy's new place being Nick's old place. That means Y&R needs to build a new set for us. Yay! I really hope the show considers doing that. Nick needs a home and his kid back. Right now, all Nick does is save people. He doesn't have much of a life of his own. No doubt, Diana. Nick has no story, so they are certainly not investing in a home set for him. Ooh, Victoria says, zing. Chelsea went right to the heart of Billy's attitude. She said, you only want to see me happy on your terms. It's your problem. Don't make it mine. And then she turned and walked away. Well done. That was quite a good moment because she did deliver it and then she just turned around and walked away. Connie says, I loved that quote as well. I'm glad to see strong women standing up to the meddling exes. Naomi says we've had a lot of fun thinking Nick and Sharon should be the next Victor and Nikki, but I vote Adam and Chelsea. They have each gave us as good as they got, yet find their way back. They are living on the ranch, and they're the only couple with a child shown with any consistency. They probably could even make room for Anita to move in as she retires from grifting. A genuine family, flaws and all. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if Anita came back? Throw her into the bunch? That annoying mother-in-law living with Adam and Chelsea at the ranch? That sounds so good. I love that. Russell says Billy is giving Chelsea absolutely no credit that she might know her own feelings and what might be best for her. She put him completely back into his place. And Adam telling Sally that she deserves more than what Billy can give her, he's right. Billy is too wrapped up in his hurt feelings and revenge about Chancellor. Sally will be out on her own before you know it. Billy is so bent out of shape about the news he's snapping at Sally. She won't put up with it for long. Yeah, I know, it doesn't seem good. Their relationship is new. Billy can only focus on his revenge for Adam. Sherrod says, all excellent points about Sally and Chelsea. Everyone keeps saying that Adam is going to hurt Chelsea. They all seem to have amnesia about what she did to him. You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm sure Chelsea has given as good as she's gotten. No doubt. Hey, Gary says, I would never suggest that Diane doesn't have good taste, but she's ruining, I feel she's ruining the Abbott mansion. The refreshment is taking too long, suggesting a total overhaul. Diane doesn't want Jack doing a drive-by because the whole foundation of the house is probably reduced to cement before them. It is taking a while. Naomi says a little paint and some new throw pillows shouldn't take weeks and weeks. Poor Jack, his home was probably changed beyond recognition. I bet it's going to look something like Billy's new place. Nice, but who cares? Nice, but who cares? I still feel like the Abbott Mansion refresh is going to be minimal. I feel like it's going to be all of this to do. They're gone out of the mansion for weeks and weeks, and we're going to come back and it's going to be new throw pillows. You know what I think it is? I feel like they probably moved the Abbott Mansion set to make room for that psychiatric hospital. They only have limited space. And like Billy's got this new house now too. And I mean, the psychiatric thing was extra. And so I just kind of feel like maybe they needed to get that cleared away and then get the new set up. So maybe it's all just timing with other stories. But when it does come back, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm sure it's going to be recognizable. And I'm hoping it's going to be next week. Russell says they're using a different camera angle for Phyllis and Billy's society scenes today. The camera's behind the bar, where a wall of liquor usually is, facing the direction of the front door. Took me a second to realize where they were. I kept hoping they would pan left and show the wall was still there, TV magic, but they never took the shot that far over, not even a scene change. And at Billy's place, when Jack and Billy were sitting in front of the fireplace talking about the business, they shot dimly lit moment from behind Billy with the sunlight coming in on his back. Then at the end, they did an overhead shot down on them. I liked all of that. Different director, maybe? It's interesting. Yeah, Connie says, I noticed that as well. Great minds think alike. I also noticed the athletic club logo was on the takeout bag at Billy's house and appeared again on the tablecloth at the club. Is that new, or if I just missed this detail? Ooh, I love little details like this. These are the little things that get us chatting, get us talking. Yeah, I noticed the different angles this week too and really appreciated all of that. I hope Y&R keeps it up, because even if every place can't have a new set, it can certainly have a new way to shoot it. Well, Connie says Allie's poll question about Amy got me thinking about who else might be helping Aristotle Dumas to infiltrate and influence Chancellor Winters and Abbott companies. What about Mamie? She has ties to all three families, and didn't she claim that she had help from a secret investor that helped her accrue her wealth? I can't remember if her investor was disclosed or assumed to be Victor, just a thought. Any chance it could be her? Ooh. Sue W. says, Mamie is a good call. I've thought about that possibility, but then I can't expand on it because I've forgotten how things were left with her. Did she sell the company stocks or something and then make her lose money? Has she left town? Was she in good, bad graces with whom? Yeah, I know. Lisa J. says, Mamie, that would explain Dumas. So far, he's just been a voice on the phone, bringing up to Billy how he got mistreated by his mother. Yeah, Mamie had the vendetta against Jill. So maybe in Mamie's mind, this could be a way to get back at Jill. I like this theory. Russell says, I think it was Victor all along. I was hoping it would be Drusilla. I know, it could be Victor. It could just be Victor. It could just be Victor. We need some more theories about who Dumas is. Well, Erica's birthday is April 12th. Erica, where are you? You need to come give us some theories about who you think Dumas is for your birthday. Come to yrchat.com and say hello. Tell us who you think Aristotle Dumas is and let us say happy birthday to you. Also, Sharon W., April 8th. Wow, happy birthday, Sharon W. Would you like to have a takeout bag from the athletic club delivered to you for your birthday meal? I'll even throw in a tablecloth, a branded tablecloth. We'll put it right over your dining room table and we'll just pretend it's athletic club dining. Sharon W. says, I love having Michael helping Victor. Two of Y&R's seasoned actors that together and individually entertain us with all their magnificent talents. And I love the tender interactions between Nikki and Michael on Thursday's show when she expressed that Michael is like family to Victor and herself, and that Victor is like family to Michael. Yeah, I know. So good. So good. I love seeing Michael, you know that. Steven says the plot thickens, drawing in gorgeous Audra. Victor is about to insist that she refamiliarize with Kyle, breaking Claire's heart as quid pro quo for a position at Chancellor. Ooh, I like that. And Steven also says, I got a bit behind on the show, but can the penny drop on a billionaire and his mouthpiece? Apparently, yes. It dropped on Victor and Michael. Aristotle Dumas is Tucker McCall's nom de guerre. I probably said that wrong. The proverbial penny will drop on poor Devon. Even we without billions know better because we listen to Allie's Sunday Chat. Yep, we without billions listen to Allie's Sunday Chat, that's for sure. No billionaires in this bunch. But so you think it's still a possibility that it could be Tucker. Okay, I was like, well, if they're mentioning it, then it can't be true because I feel like they're going to want a twist on us here. All that anticipation, all that build up. I don't know. I wish it was Trevor St. John. That's what I want. I want it to be Trevor St. John, and I want a twist that Damian is Devon's brother. That I love that theory. Well, speaking of the chat, Tony says, I decided to listen to Allie's Y&R podcasts of the past. Since we can't watch old episodes of Y&R, I would listen to the recaps. Might be fun. But I couldn't find them in any of my podcasts. I looked for a link at the website and it goes to the YouTubes. There's number 1, 2, and 153. I clicked on that and there's a chat from July 2013. What's it about? Phyllis and Sharon's rivalry back when Phyllis tumbled down the stairs with Sharon at the top and her who cares attitude, the lipstick, and the pre-coma. Such fun. Yes. That's really strange that of all the ones you would click on, it would be that one. Wow. Okay, well, so I wanted to mention about, I mean, we've got, how many, is this 17 years? We got 17 years worth of Y&R chats that are just as fun to go back through as, you know, since we don't have access to all of the old Y&R episodes. Podcast-wise, though, I mean, it's like, I don't even know how many episodes. It's got to be 1,000 podcast episodes, something like that. And I can't afford to host all of that as an on-demand podcast. But YouTube's always there, and I think the numbers that you see, if you go to YouTube, go to Y&Rchat.com. You go to YouTube, and then there's numbers like 1, 2, 153. I think 153 is the final page number, not the final video. But you'll find the very first Y&R chat there on YouTube, and all of them, I don't even know how many videos it is at this point, but all of them going back to May, I think 26th, 2008. So all of that is still there on YouTube if you're having a rainy day and you just feel like listening to some old Y&R chats. That's the place where you can do it. I'm having a rainy day. That's for sure. I'm sick. I'm surprised I've made it through this without coughing constantly because I've been having a real hard time with the coughing. I think it's the spring break sickness. My daughter got it, and then guess what? I got it. That's how it goes. Um, so feeling a little crummy today, but still here. Still here chatting. That speaks to my dedication, you know. Well, hey, you know, if you like old podcast
episodes. You can go to genoacitysoap.com. I've got 3 mashups there. Or if you go to yrchat.com, you'll find that YouTube link. And I mean, the website's got pictures and stuff going back. I mean, maybe to like 2010, 11, 12, something like that. So there's lots of old stuff to dig through if you're finding yourself with some time and some interest in old Y&Rs or Y&R chats. But yeah, now I need a nap. I feel I've earned my nap, so I'm gonna go do that. But I will be back next Sunday feeling much better, I'm sure of it. Okay, I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.